Talking KNT Netball now, and Sally Bywater, our correspondent for the KNT League, is here with me. How are you going today, Sally?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's good. Good to hear. And it was a big weekend of results in the KNT. Let's get straight into it, and we'll kick off with Kingston A grade getting a 17-goal win over Bordertown, and no ordinary win, their first win of the season and their first win since 2018. So a pretty remarkable result there.
Yeah, great effort here by the Kingston girls. And yeah, obviously last time they had an A-grade side was 2018, where they had 3 wins for the season. So it was only 28 to 26 at half time, but Kingston really played a really strong second half, going up 7 in the third quarter, another 8 in the last quarter. So they were just strong all over the court, too strong for Bordertown on the day, and a fantastic effort here by the Saints girls to get their win. And I know they had a few regular players out, so a lot of young girls up there playing, which was great to see.
Yeah, really good. And I'm sure Bordertown will be on the board soon as well. And remarkably, Kingston, considering it was their first win in 5 years, it was actually the only non-close game of the entire round. Every other game decided by 4 goals or less. So, yeah, I'm sure that was a good celebration for the Kingston girls, and congratulations to them. We'll move on. Our next game, Keith A grade, getting the win over Naracoorte 41 to 37. So a nice tight game there, and Keith just scraping by to stay undefeated on top of the ladder.
Yeah, they are looking good this season. We always think they're competitive every year, and again this year they're doing it. And a great first half here by them. They were 23 to 15 up at half time. So they really cemented that win probably in the first half, which they've been getting off to some great starts. So if they put 4 quarters together, I reckon they'll be really hard to beat this season. But a level last quarter in the last quarter by Naracoorte, so it was 12 all. So they finished off well, and they'll be going in with some momentum this week. But another good win to the Crows girls sitting on top of the ladder.
And Mundalla defeated Lucindale 29 to 25, both with just the one loss heading into the game. So Mundalla have the wood over them there now, and quite a low-scoring game, 29 to 25. How did this one go down?
Yeah, very low scoring. So a great defensive game by both sides. Both teams only getting under 30 goals in an A-grade game is, probably not what we see very often. But, to get those shooters shooting some goals this week at netball training, and who knows what they'll come out with in the following week. But, Mundalla had the 18 to 11 goals at half time. So even that's very close scoring, which we wouldn't see very often. But, getting 11 goals to 13, 14 in the second half. So Lucindale came back in the second half, not quite got there in the end, but a nice defensive game by both sides.
Both sides establishing themselves as a couple of the defensive powerhouses in the competition, no doubt about that. Our last game of the round, we had a draw between Penola and Kaibi Bolite.
Yeah, what a ripper of a game this would have been to watch. 66 all, so huge scoring here by both teams. So April Possingham from Penola shooting 46 of those goals for her team, and Chelsea Ball for Kaibi shooting 51 goals for her team. So they're just some really good scores to put on the board there. And I know April shot at 90%, so just a fantastic effort, and all players going really well. It was 36-33 with Penola up at half time, but a great comeback by Kaibi, not quite getting there at the end, but a draw, and that's your 4th and 5th team sitting nicely comfortable there in the top 5.
So we had our defensive powerhouses, and it looks like they're our offensive powerhouses in the league. A really high-scoring game there. So, great effort by both of those teams. And, of course, Border Districts had the bye this week. We'll look on to round 6 coming up this weekend, and we'll start off Kaibi Bolite taking on Keith.
Yeah, I think this will be a fantastic game. These two sides have started the season really well. Obviously, Keith 4 and Zip up the top of the ladder, and Kaibi 2 wins, a loss and a draw. So after that game last week, I think this will be a fantastic game outdoors at Kaibi, and I think Kaibi might actually get the win and come off that win last week, or that draw last week, and put it up to those ladder leaders.
Yeah, no doubt Kaibi will be keen to be the first team to knock off Keith, especially on their own home court. Moving on to our next game, Lucindale are hosting Border Districts.
Yeah, another great game. Border's obviously having that bye last week, and they'll be raring to go. And Lucindale, not scoring many goals on that board. They'll have to score goals this week to get the win over Borders, because Borders are very defensive again, and they'll like to stop those goals. But they also have a powerhouse in their shooting lineup. So a great game here. Lucindale just outside the 5 at the moment. They'll need to get some wins on the board, but I think Borders in a close one.
An interesting matchup in our next game. Naracoorte are hosting Mundalla. Now, Naracoorte are sitting 7th with 1 win and 4 losses. Mundalla are sitting 3rd with 3 wins and 1 loss, but Naracoorte have a better percentage, so maybe the ladder still in its early stages, not quite being honest there, and it looks like this one should be a pretty close matchup.
Yeah, based on those stats, definitely. Like, Naracoorte's getting good scores on the board, so they've got shot 233 goals already, and Mundalla only 142, so that's nearly 100 goals difference between the two sides. So we know Naracoorte can score, they just haven't got those wins on the board, but those losses they have had have been very close. Mundalla, we know, are very defensive. They'll need to get some good scores on the board to beat these top teams. So I think in a close one, Naracoorte at home will get their second win for the season.
And Kingston have the bye fresh off that win. They've earned themselves a week off. So our last game of the round, Bordertown hosting Penola, looking for their first win of the season. And Penola going okay at 2 wins, 1 loss, and coming off that draw last week.
Yeah, obviously we do know Penola are looking good this season, and as they always do, and Bordertown are still searching for that first win of the season, and their games haven't been that bad. Like, obviously last week against Kingston, that was their highest losing margin for the season. So they put 4 good quarters on the board. We know anything can happen, and I think Penola will get the win in this game, but hopefully Bordertown redeem a bit after last week, have a great training this week, and play good 4 quarters, but Penola will be too strong in this game.
Things are definitely heating up in the KNT. Some good games every week that we're seeing, and I'm sure there'll be some more tight ones this weekend. Moving on from the association, there's a bit of other news around the region. So the country champs teams, have they just been selected?
Yeah, so they've been training for a couple of weeks. Now, they had a couple of selections and probably 2 weeks in as training as a team. So we're sending 4 teams off to country champs on a long weekend in June. So it'll be our senior team of 17 and under, of 15 and under, and 13 and under. And we'd like to congratulate every player that got selected in those sides. And it's great to have all 10 clubs represented. So we have a strong league, and it's really good to see these teams playing in a couple of weeks. We can't wait to see their results on the board, and let's hope our seniors go back-to-back in winning the championship.
Yeah, it's a great achievement making those representative teams, so congratulations to all and wishing you all good luck in the carnivals. And the other little bit of news you've got for us is regarding the girls in the Thunderbirds Academy.
Yeah, so they had their first training, so we've got 9 girls selected in the Thunderbirds Academy. So they trained at Keith last weekend, and they had a great training there and developing their skills. It's also great to see Jane Gould, one of our coaches here from Lucindale, who's head of that academy program. So we're really grateful that these girls get that opportunity, and especially at Keith indoors, it's a great opportunity. And they train again on the 18th of June at Keith. So if anyone wants to pop along and have a look at that and get some coaching skills up to date, it'd be great to see you.
And Sally, thank you as always for joining us. Looking forward to chatting again next week.
Thank you very much.